For much of my life, I wasn't a Christian. I come from a family of barristers, trial lawyers. I practiced as a barrister for a number of years. My father was a barrister. My mother was a barrister. My sister is a barrister. My son qualified as a barrister. My daughter qualified as a barrister. My grandfathers on both sides were barristers. My uncle was a barrister. If we'd had a cat, it would have been a barrister. My father was Jewish. He was a secular Jew. He escaped the Holocaust. Many of his family had died in the Holocaust. My mother was not a churchgoer. My father described himself as an agnostic. And I came to the conclusion, when I was a teenager, that I was an atheist. I was quite an argumentative atheist. Not that I was out to convert people to atheism, but if anyone had tried to convert me to Christianity, then I had a lot to say on the subject. And I was quite suspicious of Christians. I'd come across one or two of them in my gap year, and they had these smiles, which I found deeply suspicious. And in my first year at university, I had a room next door to my great friend, Nicky Lee. And I warned him against these Christians. I said, don't let them into your room, whatever you do. But it was too late. He'd met some. One time, he and his then girlfriend, now his wife, Scylla, came back and they said that they had become Christians. I was horrified. I mean, they were such lovely people. I thought, how can I help them? I really didn't know very much about it. So I thought, I'd better investigate. So I managed to find this old Bible. And that night I started reading it. I started at the beginning of the New Testament. I read Matthew's Gospel, Mark, Luke. I got about halfway through John's Gospel. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I fell asleep. The following day, I carried on reading. All that day, all the next day, all the day afterwards. I was a student, so I didn't have any work to do. And when I got to the end of the New Testament, I came to the conclusion, it's true. It was as if the person of Jesus had emerged from the pages of the New Testament, and I'd encountered him. The Bible is all about Jesus. It points us to Jesus. As we read the Bible, as I read the Bible, I am expecting to encounter Jesus. I'm expecting to hear God speak to me. So each day, that's how I start. Like I start with physical breakfast, I start with spiritual food. That's the first thing I do. The first thing I do in the morning is I want to encounter Jesus. I want to have that spiritual hunger satisfied. It sets me up for the day. I read something that Rick Warren wrote about the Bible, and this really is my story. I could say all these things have been true for me as I've read the Bible daily over the decades. He says this, reading the Bible generates life. It produces change. It heals hurts. It builds character. It transforms circumstances. It imparts joy. It overcomes adversity. It defeats temptation. It infuses hope. It releases power. And it cleanses the mind.